Now, one of the most challenging things we all face in the workplace is getting everyone to work together. And occasionally we go to these retreats and we have these staff development days where we try to do team building. And it's really hard to come up with ideas for really innovative, exciting activities. Well, try this one out for size. What would it be like if you and your coworkers had to build bicycles? You'd probably either get it done or you'd end up strangling each other. But our next speaker, Merrick Rosenberg, he knows how to make this work. Again, because he's an expert at helping people learn how to work together and build teams. And he actually went to a higher education institution, Wilmington University, and that was what they did for their team building day. They actually built 7 bicycles. But here's what's really cool about it. They didn't just build the bicycles for the sake of team building. When they got done building the bikes, Merrick brought in a whole bunch of kids from big brothers and sisters, and they gave the kids the bikes. And I think that's a pretty awesome thing to do. So I'm going to ask Merrick to come up and share some of his ideas about how we build teams and build community. Thank you, Merrick.
Thank you.
For being here. By the way, he's a very nice guy, but don't mess with him because he has a 4th-degree black belt in karate.
Well, today we're going to talk about creating culture. We're going to talk about what I would like to refer to as creating a culture of accountability. And I'm going to start us off by asking you a question. And before I ask it, I want you to think of yourself in a community. The world in which I work is in corporate America. So I work with a lot of different organizations. And so I'll go in and I'll talk to them about culture. And so you can pick a community of which you are a member. It could be you're a member of a school board. It could be a church group. It could be your organization if you're working, right? So the question is this. Are you a co-creator of culture or a passive recipient of culture? Okay? So think about that. If we are co-creators of culture, we create the world in which we live, right? We take ownership of the environment and we say, hey, I got to be here, and I'm going to be here a lot of times. If we're in the workplace, for example, we spend a good percentage of our waking life in the workplace. We want it to be a place that we enjoy. And so if we are a co-creator of culture, we believe that we have the power to create the world in which we work and live. If we are a passive recipient of culture, and think what emotion comes online for you when you hear that phrase. I'm a passive recipient of culture, right? Now, it's an emotion where you'd say, ooh, that doesn't sound very good. But yet, when asking this question in corporations, do you believe more people believe they are co-creators of culture or passive recipients of culture? Right? Most people, when asked this question, feel as though they are passive recipients of culture, except if I work with the senior leadership team who think they really create the culture, so which they do to a very small degree. But the fact of the matter is that people create culture. And if we are passive recipients of culture, those are the people who feel as though, who am I in this giant machine? I am just this one cog in this big machine of this organization. How can I possibly have an impact on this place that I work? So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how can you be a co-creator of culture and drive the environment in which you work or live. Okay, so let's start off. First thing I do want to share with you is that most organizations have a piece of equipment that they have installed. You may not ever have seen it, but you know it's there. And it's a very powerful piece of equipment. And it is what I like to refer to as the Drama Accelerator. Now, here is how the Drama Accelerator works. Something happens. It could be anything at all. And we take that, whatever it is. Let's say, I'll share an example with you in a moment of a company that was rolling out a new software system. Okay, so actually, let's do that now. The company is rolling out a new software system. Right? They're very excited. In fact, I was working with the project team that was responsible for this new software system. Now, just to give you a sense, this was the IT team that was tasked with rolling out a new enterprise-wide organizational system that the CEO touted as the future of the company. This is going to change everything. It is one of the pillars of success, future success for this organization. No pressure, right? No pressure at all. People are like, the team, they know what this means, and everyone else in the organization, as I'm sure you can imagine, is very excited about this because they feel as though, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be easy. We'll just implement this new software system. Do you think that's what happened? Right? So here's what happened. They hear about the new software system, and then they take it and very carefully feed it into the drama accelerator. Now, when it began, it was the excitement by the senior leadership team of a brand new software system that is going to transform their organization. And when it came out the other end, you already know what it was like, right? When it comes out the other end, this is going to be so efficient. Are they going to need all of us? This is going to take a lot of work. Is this really going to be easy? I mean, they say it's going to be so easy. We're all going to have to get trained, and it's going to add complexity, and our lives are going to be difficult, and this whole thing, this is just not a good idea. Right? So now we have got this, everything kind of feeds in and comes out, and people create drama. Have you experienced the drama accelerator? Right? And so some organizations, I like to tell you, I think it's like the T100 model. You feed it in, it comes out. It's all right. You've had a little drama. And other organizations have like the T5000, right? I actually had a group the other day where they explained to me that they have a drama accelerator, but when it comes out the other side, it's not big enough, so they refeed it in again. Right? Now we're good. Okay, now it's working. And so co-creating culture, when you co-create culture, we can create culture in a very positive way, but we can also create culture and create it in a negative way. And that's not what I'm saying when I'm talking about co-creating culture. When we co-create culture, we create the world in which we want to live. And if you think about morale in the workplace and stress in the workplace, as stress goes up, what happens to morale? Morale goes down. And it gets fed by drama, and it makes it bigger, and it makes it more challenging. Now, there's a second piece of equipment that organizations have as well. And I'll continue with the story of this IT project team. Now, they're under the spotlight, right? They know that this thing has to succeed. This is an organization, and it's a pharmaceutical firm. It's an organization I was working with, and they said, boy, we have to make this thing successful. And here's what happened. They had such a culture that they wanted this thing to succeed that, do you think that if anything went wrong, people said, this co-creating culture, we step up, we take ownership. When you co-create culture, you step up and you take ownership and accountability. So when things go wrong for this massive project, people said, oh, that was my fault. I did that. I made that decision, didn't work out well. It was me. Right? So what ended up happening was they had another piece of equipment. You see, the drama accelerator, we have installed that inside the companies. Outside, it is what I like to refer to as the bus. And the bus is out there, and it's waiting for you. You do not have to worry. It is there. Okay? And organizations throw people under the bus. Right? Now, here's the deal with this. Right? We hate the fact that we would get thrown under the bus. And then in a culture that we have become passive recipients of culture, we actually start to exhibit the very same behaviors for which we despise in others. Right? Well, they blame me. I don't want to be the one to get in trouble. Hey, Bob's not here. Right? And so what happens is organizations start pointing fingers and start blaming. And when you create a culture in which there's bus and people are throwing people under and not taking ownership and responsibility, and you create a culture of fear, you create a culture of not taking ownership of your world, you create a place that is not going to be very engaging. Right? We talk about, people use that word a lot, but I use the word engaging, an engaged workforce. That's when you align maximum job satisfaction with optimal performance. People are happy and they're productive. I will tell you, I do a lot of organizational surveys. I've gone into organizations all throughout the country, and we took the data that we generated from our organizational surveys. Actually, I shouldn't even call them organizational surveys. I should call them team surveys. These are with teams and departments. So we go into a team and we figure out what is going on with this team. What is working, what is not working. And when you take all the data from all of the surveys, from all of the organizations that we have worked with, and you take a look at what's at the top and what's at the bottom, the single lowest rated survey item, so if this is low, it is not good, is people, when people are not present, people speak only in positive terms about them. Right? So actually, I think it's when people are not present, people speak only in positive terms about people who are not present. Right? So if you're not there, don't worry. We've got the bus for you. Right? So how can you have a candid and open work environment when there's this fear and concern? Right? So the next question then is, well, we've got the bus and we've got the drama accelerator, and just how does culture get created in an organization? Right? So let's take a look at that for a minute. And I'm going to share with you a little thought experiment. Okay? So put yourself here. We're going to get a cage, and it's a big cage, zoo-like cage. We're going to put 5 monkeys in the cage. We're going to put a flight of steps right in the center. We're going to hang some string from the center of the cage, and attached to that string we are going to put a banana. Okay? So 5 monkeys in a cage, they see the banana, you know what they're going to do. One of them says, hey, it's a banana. Walks to the steps, climbs up the steps, goes to reach for the banana. The second that monkey heads for the banana, every other monkey is instantly sprayed with ice cold water. Okay, now, the monkey that went for the banana is pretty happy. The other monkeys, not so much. So now, they put a new banana in there. Same thing happens. A monkey goes over, goes to take the banana. All the other monkeys get sprayed with ice cold water. It doesn't take very long in this culture, in this place, in the self-contained world, right, for the monkeys to immediately attack any monkey that now goes towards the flight of steps. Because clearly, that is the cause of us getting sprayed with cold water. So before long, no monkey will ever again go towards the steps to reach for a banana. Okay? Now, let's remove the cold water, never to be seen again. Now, we're going to take out one of the original monkeys, and we're going to cycle in a new monkey. The new monkey sees the banana, instantly goes towards the stairs. What happens? Instantly, the monkeys all rush forward and stop the monkey who has absolutely no idea what's going on here, right? But it doesn't take long for that new monkey to realize you don't go towards the steps. One by one, we cycle out the old, we bring in the new. We take out another, we bring in another. Now we have replaced all of the original monkeys. No monkey in this cage has ever been sprayed with cold water. No monkey ever again goes for the banana. And we can successively cycle out generations of monkeys, and yet they will still never go towards the banana. Why not? Because as far as we know, that's the way it's done around here. Right? Now, this is what I like to refer to as the legend of the cold water. Now, the legend has far outlived the original monkeys, because no monkey has actually ever been sprayed with cold water. And yet, they will never go for it. Okay? Now, I will give you an example. I was working with a team, and in this team, we were talking about innovation, and one of the individuals in the team had said something to me which I thought was very interesting. She had said, "Well, we don't question the strategy of the senior leadership team. Like if we have ideas, we don't bring them to the senior managers." Now, I'm sure you are saying to yourself, but if you have ideas, don't you kind of want to share them, right? And so I said to them, I said, well, that's interesting. Tell me more. Why don't you share? Well, you get fired if you start sharing ideas with the senior leadership. If you start saying, I don't think this is a great idea, but I have a better idea, you will get fired. Really? That's interesting. So how often does this happen? I mean, has this happened a lot? I mean, is this something you see all the time? Right? Silence. Right? I said, well, when was the last time this happened? I mean, like a couple weeks ago? I mean, silence. A few months ago? A year? 2? Somebody then says, I know. 2 years ago, somebody got fired because they went to the senior leadership team and shared some of their thoughts. Really? 2 years ago. Interesting. So was this a superstar, stellar employee? Well, not really. I mean, he was kind of a troublemaker. Interesting. So now, has anything changed in the past 2 years? maybe a new manager. Oh yeah, whole new manager in charge of the department. Really? Is the new manager the same? I mean, we're very totally different. So let's just rewind here, see if I'm just with you. Right? So 2 years ago, somebody, potentially a troublemaker, got fired by a manager who wasn't really very good, who isn't actually here anymore. Are we right on track? Is that where we're at? Right? They're looking at me, and then, because the legend of the cold water has lived on. Right? And they believe, and honestly and sincerely believe, that if you spoke up, bad things will happen. Right? Now, what makes it even worse, right, is that person is what I like to call a legacy monkey. You see, they actually saw somebody get fired. In the case of the actual monkeys, none of the original monkeys were there. In this case, someone is the keeper of the legend of the cold water. And so the stories that we share, the questions that we ask, and the stories that we tell define the world in which we live. So if we share stories that talk about people getting fired, what does that create? It creates fear, and it's going to create a lack of candor. Right? Jack Welch had said recently in his book Winning, he had said, the greatest challenge faced by corporations today is the lack of candor. And when you lack candor, you lack trust. You lack a place where you can be open and honest. And the stories that you tell will define whether you will get a workforce that is open or closed. Right? You hear this expression, my door is always open. Well, that's great, but when I get there, your mind is closed. So that doesn't really help me very much. So we start to see these patterns of behavior. So the question then is, how do you create the culture? And it begins with stories. It begins with the questions that we ask. And so let's take a look. So I'd like to share with you, we talked a little bit about looking at the culture that is a culture of victims, a culture of passive recipients of culture. The question then is, how do you flip it around and create a culture that is positive? Okay? So let's take a look. You ready? So first I'm going to give you a couple different strategies. The first one is called what, how, and I. Now, what, how, and I. Here's how it works. The key is to ask the right questions. You see, when things go wrong, are we saying, who did it? Why did they do that? When did that happen? You see, when we ask those questions, what do we get? We get blaming and finger pointing. When we say, what can we do and how can we fix it? That is future focused. You can only look either forward or backwards. You can't look in both directions at the same time. Now we're going to upgrade it. What can I do? How can I change this? How can I fix this? When you ask questions that are future focused, you change your culture. It's the stories we tell and the questions we ask. So let me give you another one. Predictable breakdowns. I love this one. I love asking groups. I was working with this, continue the story, I was working with the IT team, rolling out enterprise-wide software. And I said to them, do you get all the information you need? Oh, no. Some departments are horrible. Well, and they keep having to feed us information, and it's never accurate. Other groups, it's never complete. And I say, so you can actually predict that the next time you ask them for information, it's not going to be accurate or complete. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can predict it. But yet, what do? They allowed it to continue. And if you can actually predict that future breakdowns will occur, but you do nothing about them, you are actually part of the problem. Right? When you can foresee breakdowns will occur, if you are living in a culture that you co-create culture, you would step up and you fix it before it ever happens. It is much easier. Managers spend so much time putting out fires. It is much easier being proactive than it is dealing with the issues that come from not being proactive. Next, let's give you one other strategy here. And this one's an interesting one. It's called however. However. Now, here's the beauty of the word however, is that it erases that which comes before. Your hair looks beautiful. I really don't like that. However, I really don't like the sweater. Right? What are you left with? You're left with that, I don't like the sweater. Right? So what I always say is when faced with negativity, if you step up and co-create a culture of accountability, when you live in that world, what do? You hear negativity and you flip it. Right? Finance never gets us the information when we need it. Yeah. However, when we do get it, it is always accurate, it is always right, and it helps us to make good business decisions. So when you can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do. And whatever you tolerate persists. So if you tolerate negativity, You can flip it around. If you tolerate it, it will continue to have it. If you flip it around, you will co-create the culture in which you want to live. Okay? So you have power to change and create the culture. The last one is one I love. This is called positive peer pressure. Positive peer pressure, so simple, and I'll give you a real quick example. Positive peer pressure is, I'll give you a bullying example. This is how kids use this, and you'll see how adults can use this as well. Here's the strategy that we used to use for bullies. Right? What did we tell them? We told them, when you're faced with a bully, what do? Punch him in the face. Stand up to him. Yeah, that didn't really work. Got a lot of kids punched in the face. However, but here's the strategy that does work. As a teacher, I say, I know that I see maybe Bobby's being picked on, and I'll tell you what I need you to do. If you see anybody saying anything, can you help me? Can you step up? Can you say, hey, we don't treat people like that? Can you call them on that behavior? Can you say, that's not nice? What did I just do here? I co-created a culture of accountability where the entire group becomes accountable for the culture in which you live. And when everybody takes ownership of the culture in which you live, you get the culture you want. And when everybody says, this is what we accept, and we don't tolerate anything less, you get the culture that you want. When teams or groups set ground rules of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and they hold each other accountable, you get the culture that you want. So let me leave you on one last thought here, and that is a quote by Gandhi. It is, be the change you wish to see in the world. We all know what behaviors are that we believe in and we want to see. We also know the behaviors we don't like. When we simply model and live the behaviors that we want in whatever community in which we are members, then we become co-creators of culture as opposed to passive recipients. Thank you.